Well, ladies and gentlemen, Sonic 2 has smashed it. And Morbius? Well, Morbius not so much. That's the topic of today's video. I hope you're well this Monday. If you are, give the video a big thumbs up, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Why not? You know, and let me know where you are in the world. Drop it down below. I'm always keen to hear where my audience is from. So, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 faced numerous issues from critics. Critics really hated this. They give it a 67% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, interestingly enough, loads of people have gone out to watch Sonic, and it's got a 97% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's also got an A score on Cinema Score. Now, this is an important comparison, because when we look at 97% on the audience score, it's had a lot of people go and watch it, and a lot of people like it, because a lot of people will go, yeah, but Morbius has a really good audience score. Yeah, and no one's gone to see it. And we'll get to that in a moment. Because, same league as Dark Phoenix with its drop-off. Second weekend. It's not good. It is a certified flop. It's flopping around like a fish out of water. In fact, that would be more entertaining than Morbius, but never mind. So, Sonic 2 has absolutely smashed it. It's exceeded expectations at the North American box office this weekend, which is what I said last week. Last week, I did a video not too dissimilar to this, where I just cover the box office, right? I do this every single week, but this is more specific. I said last week that anywhere where Sonic 2 was out and Morbius was out at the same time, people chose not to watch Morbius. They chose to go and watch Sonic 2. And this will be the adults, by the way. This will categorically be the adults taking their kids, right? And rather than go to watch Morbius, people that wanted to watch Morbius have watched it, but there's not that many of them. And that shows in its second week drop-off across the globe, right? Because it's embarrassing. But Sonic 2 has smashed it with a $71 million opening in North America. So the domestic box office, $71 million. That's really, really good. That's the biggest opening weekend of Jim Carrey's career, which is crazy to think of. And it's a figure far beyond the $58 million that its predecessor earned in 2020. Now, that opened just before the pandemic, and $58 million, that smashed Birds of Prey into the ground. So once again, Sonic 2 is coming out and obliterating a lousy comic book movie, which, yeah, very good. Can we do that every single year, please? I would love that. So the movie's release also marks Paramount Pictures' best 3-day weekend since 2014. If you can believe that. Which I took as a bit of a surprise, but it goes to show they don't release that much. So anyway, with a debut like this, it's no wonder that the studio is moving forward with Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which if you've watched Sonic 2, you would know what that's going to be about. And we're also set to get a Knuckles live-action spin-off as well on Paramount+. Now, despite earning a 67% Rotten Tomatoes score from critics, the sequel has been a hit with moviegoers, and it's got a 97% audience score. So, yeah. However, Ambulance flopped. Ambulance was a huge bloody flop. Now, Morbius dropped to number 2. Okay? Number 2. And it took 10.2 million. Now, that's really, really bad. And that's not good by any stretch of the imagination. At all, in fact. At all. Real, real bad. But let's actually look how bad it is. Because you guys are going to laugh at this, because it is very, very funny. So when Spider-Man No Way Home was released last December, it broke all manner of box office records. Well, Sony's breaking another one, or at least, tying another one. So Morbius has now underperformed last weekend, in the midst of negative review. That was last weekend it underperformed, and is underperformed now. Now, they say poor word of mouth. I mean, it will be poor word of mouth. Not many people are interested in Morbius on a whole anyway. It has its niche audience, of course it does. But there's not a lot of people that are like, yeah, Morbius, I'm going to rush out to see that. Yeah, Jared Leto as some CGI vampire. Yeah, I'm going to run out and see that. They're just not. And, Sony has failed to deliver trailers or a movie which make this character compelling. So even this, D-list character from Spider-Man universe, they couldn't make compelling enough for people to go out and watch, because you can make this compelling, but they didn't. So it also didn't help, and again, terrible record. What's the record? Well, according to Forbes, Morbius, $2.95 million Friday, marked a massive 83% drop. Now that would tie it with 2019's Dark Phoenix, with an estimated $9.9 million weekend haul, which, you know, we've got now. It's what was it? 10.2. So not massively different, in fairness, not hugely different, not a huge difference there. So 9.9 million. Now that 73.9% decline means it has the dubious honour of delivering the biggest drop for a second weekend of any Marvel Comics adaptation, beating both the final X-Men movie and even 2015's Fantastic Four. So it is beat out Fant4stick. That is madness. Now, a lot of people are saying it's not a bomb because it only costs $75 million. Let's break it down as to why it's a bomb. So, Morbius had a fairly strong start, and that stopped it from being completely written off as a flop. It is a flop, and let's explain why. So 57 million domestic haul, 126 million global total. Okay, so it cost between 75 million to 83 million to produce. Now 75 million was the number which people have been touting. Now suddenly $83 million has come out. Now there's a few things to consider here. This has been in production for a very long time. Financiers start to put interest on the money which they provide. So that's important to consider. Now, some of those interests were put on hold during the pandemic. However, this did have reshoots, it's really evident, and it has a lot of CGI. So $75 million is not a figure which I believe, because when we go back to 2016's Deadpool, which cost $60 million, Morbius has way more CGI, and $75 million in maybe like 2019, 2020, I can't picture that being the case. I just can't. But even if it did cost $75 million, right? Let's double that because marketing. So $150 million it needs to make just to start breaking even. But that's not it. That doesn't work. Why doesn't that work, ladies and gents? Well, because you've got theatre take on all of this as well, which can be upwards of 50%. Right? They can take quite a lot. Obviously, the theatres have to get paid as well. So if it's 25, 50%, there's a lot that this movie needs to make back. And it's 126 million. It's not even at the conservative estimate of break even. It's not even at the, at the goalposts of breaking even. It's a huge, resounding flop. And you know what shows to me why it's never going to make that money? 83% drop, 73.9 decline. These numbers on the drop off, how is it ever going to achieve those figures? How is it ever going to achieve those numbers? It's not. This would have to stay in theatres for so long to hit the $150 million mark. Now, there is the potential that it'll be released in China, and China will earn the money, but they're all on lockdown, and in Shanghai, they're throwing themselves out of buildings. So I don't see China saving the day on this. I'll be very surprised if they can. But there you go. You couldn't keep Sonic down. Sonic got to go fast to number 1. Let me know what you think on all this down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Thanks, guys. Take care.